Chris? I call a meeting to order as the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We moved the flag up. Welcome everyone to our third reading, public hearing. Just want to give a few housekeeping notes here. Chapter planning and zoning of the event ordinance and explain where the recommendations came from. After the presentation, the attendees will have an opportunity to comment. I also was asked to pass on Clayton's regrets as he is ill tonight and will not be able to make it. Needs to open up the hearing.
Make a motion, we open the public hearing for the second reading of chapter third reading of chapter 50 zoning amendment regarding WECS.
I'll second that motion. All in favor, signify by aye.
All right,
We do have a written comment that was submitted, that they request us to read, so John will read that.
for supervisor. Board of Supervisors, Carolyn, comments, we read 3 readings with. This is from Keith Leland, Windsor, Iowa. Let's move forward on the ordinance the way you have it. From the comments of my neighbors and friends, I think you're on target. It sounds like there's a pretty strong opinion that even a petition that you folks have received, that you're doing it right by revising our previous ordinance. The existing ordinance is too loose, and your revisions are to be more accurately reflect the will of the people of the Buchanan County, and more accurately reflect the good and difficult parts of the WECS projects. Also, there are a few more questions to help folks understand where we are in this important topic. One, are our landowners familiar with the laws, with the Iowa title rules? And the WECS operators, wind companies, insured landowners are familiar with the Iowa title rules. The latest version of the Iowa title rules can be purchased from the Law Library or Trade and Iowa Law Colleges. How do title rules and title law affect the contracts currently offered? Additionally, it's important to make these changes due to the current energy market. Usually, WECS operators in Iowa raise the voltage by combining WECS facilities and transmitting electricity to the Chicago market. The electricity market in the Chicago area pays higher rates for electricity. From my experience in the oil and gas industry and my experience at the Iowa Utilities Board, the WECS operators would likely have better long-term profit generating electricity in Iowa and selling it in the Chicago market. Selling electricity in the Chicago market would also be easier to offset periods of low or no wind generating electricity. Is that the operator's intent? And Buchanan County folks want wind generated electricity to be sold in Iowa. The way this ordinance is written addresses these concerns with mandating eminent domain will not be used in Buchanan County. Please have folks contact me if they're having trouble getting answers. I can help direct them to the folks who know the answers. Keith Leland, Windsor, Iowa.
Thank you, John. Now I'm going to turn it over to Chad.
Thank you. Just like the 2 previous weeks, I will read the history of the WECS amendment process and when it began until today. So June 7th, 2022, P&Z made announced and reported to the P&Z Commission that Mark Trumbauer from Next Era Energy visited his office. Potentially 67 to 70 wind turbine applications being submitted and constructed within the fall 2023 start date. P&Z Commission discussion began to assure all industries and landowner applications are evaluated in the same manner. June 21st, 2022, Board of Health meeting, Peggy reported to the Board of Health about potential NextEra Energy wind turbine project, the process which the application will be followed per our existing ordinance, and potential nuisance complaints the county would need to address before, during, and after the project for Buchanan County residents. July 7th, 2022, P&Z meeting, discussion and motion were included concerning amendments and recommendations to the WECS ordinance, needing to be similar to the recent solar ordinance recommendations which had previously been submitted by the P&Z Commission. Original WECS amendments proposed to the Board of Supervisors in a public hearing, August 29th, 2022, approved 2-0, Board Shonka. September 6th, 2022, approved 3-0, Board Gissel and Shonka. September 12th, 2022, denied 3-0, Board Gissel and Shonka, with the request to have zoning administrator Dayton work with the P&Z Commission to remove the manufacturing district requirement and increase the CSR level to 71 CSR. November 14th, 2022, original amendment proposal was presented to the Board of Supervisors for a second time. Vote of 2-1, Board Gissel yes, Shonka no, was made to reject the P&Z Commission proposal. Current WECS proposal history, February 1st, 2023, NextEra Energy presented to the P&Z Commission. April 2023, Bob P. presented WECS concerns to the Board of Health. April 24th, 2023, NextEra Energy presented in Brandon, Iowa. May 15th, 2023, Board of Supervisors voted to place a moratorium on any WECS projects for 1 year. May 17th, 2023, NextEra Energy presented in Raleigh, Iowa. July 24th, 2023, NextEra Energy presented in Jessup, Iowa. August 2nd, 2023, Citizens United presented to the P&Z Commission. August 21st, 2023, Board of Supervisors voted 2-1 in favor of appointing the P&Z Commission to review and update the existing WECS ordinance, which was originally adopted on September 14th, 2020. September 6th, 2023, P&Z Commission began reviewing pages 30 through 37 of the existing WECS ordinance. November 1st, 2023, P&Z Commission reviewed pages 30 through 33 of the existing WECS ordinance. December 6th, 2023, P&Z Commission reviewed pages 35 through 37 of the existing WECS ordinance. December 28th, 2023, P&Z Commission WECS amendment recommendations, revisions, agendas, meeting minutes were all presented to the County Attorney's Office. January 25th, 2024, County Attorney's Office responded with revisions, edits, and comments for the P&Z Commission. March 6th, 2024, P&Z Commission reviewed the WECS amendments, comments, revisions, and edits from the Assistant County Attorney. April 3rd, 2024, final revision and edits to the proposed WECS amendments by the P&Z Commission. Prior to the last WECS revision meeting, the zoning department heard comments from 22 individuals. 19 were in support of the P&Z WECS amendments, 86.4%. 2 were against the P&Z WECS amendments, 9.1%. 1 was neutral, 4.5%. A petition with over 800 signatures in support of the P&Z WECS amendments has been presented to our office and P&Z Commission. 9-member P&Z Commission unanimously recommended the WECS amendments with a 9-0 vote. April 8th, 2024, Board of Supervisors voted to extend the WECS moratorium another year to May 15th, 2025. April 8th, 2024, final revisions and edits of the 4/3/24 minutes were sent to Assistant County Attorney Josh White for his review. April 11th, 2024, final proposed WECS amendments sent to the auditor and the Board of Supervisors to set the public hearings. April 29th, 2024, WECS amendment public hearings were set for the following dates: May 15th, May 22nd, and May 29th. On May 15th, 2024, Brandon Community Center at 7 p.m., a vote of 2-1 to adopt the WECS with 1 abstaining vote, including security fencing requirements eliminated and added shadow flicker verbiage. May 22nd, 2024, at the Brandon Community Center, voted 2-1 to adopt the WECS, including security fencing requirements eliminated, added shadow flicker verbiage, and added zoning district verbiage after decommissioning is included. And tonight is the third reading on May 29th here at 7 p.m. in Brandon. And again, those in the audience that have a copy, yours is in black and white, and there are a few notes in red of the changes. The board of supervisors, P&Z commission, Chris Wogan-Bush, Josh White, myself, color copy with green and red. Again, this is the third reading, and I will be reading anything that's being amended or being proposed to be amended. Number one, preservation of property rights objectives. It is recognized that the establishment of policy regulating the use of land is a community issue. Adequate input and monitoring from local citizens and agencies must be considered during the comprehensive planning period. B, to encourage the continued utilization of Chapter 335.2 Code of Iowa County Zoning Farm Exemption. This section provides for deregulation of farmland, farmhouses, farm barns, and other farm structures from county zoning. This may be used as an incentive to help the preservation of the farming industry. Other definitions, 3A was added, energy production, wind project, WECS. One or more WECS located together and used for production of electrical power to be interconnected into local utility, electrical grid, and primarily for consumption by on-grid utility customers located off the property. I apologize, I want to mention where these came from. Where I'm currently reading is from Polk County, page 1, letter E, 11-1 minutes, page 6, and then the first preservation of property rights comes from our old comprehensive plan on page 53. Continuing down under non-commercial WECS, letter A, single-use residential production WECS, a single WECS on an individual lot or parcel used to produce energy primarily for residential consumption on the property where the WECS is located. And as I continue down through the definitions, these are from Polk County, page 1, letters A, B, C, D, minutes of 11-1, page 6. Shared residential production WECS, WECS used for residential consumption that is shared by more than one property owner and placed within the easement area on private property, common area, jointly owned property within a development. C, single-use non-residential production WECS, one or more WECS used to produce energy primarily for non-residential property where the WECS is located. Under D, shared non-residential production WECS, WECS used for non-residential consumption that is shared by more than one property owner and placed within an easement area of private property, common area, jointly owned property within the development. All zone definition was taken from November 1st meeting, page 11. All zone. This area defined as the furthest distance from the tower base in which a guide or non-guide tower will collapse in the event of a structural failure. This area shall not be less than 1.5 times the total height of the WECS tower. Refer to table 2. Moving on to the definition of shadow flicker number 12, taken from Chickasaw County, page 3, letter T, also minutes 11-1, page 15. Shadow flicker shall mean the visible flicker effect when rotating turbine blades cast shadows on the ground or nearby structures, causing a repeating pattern of light and shadow. Total height also added and referred to table 2. This was also taken from Chickasaw County. The maximum total height of a commercial WECS shall be no more than 600 feet. Number 18 was taken from Buchanan County Ordinance, page 31, number 17. Public conservation lands. Lands owned and fee titled by state or federal agencies and managed specifically for conservation purposes, including but not limited to state wildlife management areas, state parks, state scientific and natural areas, federal wildlife refuges, waterfowl production areas, county parks, county trails, city parks, and city trails. For the purpose of this section, public conservation lands will also include lands owned and fee title by nonprofit conservation organizations. Moving down to applicability. Letter C, number 1. These were taken from the minutes 11-1, pages 13 and 14, and minutes on March 6, 2024, page 7. Number 1, it shall be lawful to construct, erect, install, alter, or locate any WECS within unincorporated Buchanan County without rezoning the area of the proposed site to the L manufacturing district, and after being authorized by the Buchanan County Board of Supervisors in a public hearing. Number 2, the rezoning process will include transition to your manufacturing district with a restriction to include wind energy generation and any adjoining crop farming application which may apply. Moving to procedures. Number 3, manufacturing request was taken from minutes 11-1, page 13 and 14. Rezoning or map amendment shall be applied for and reviewed under the procedures established in section 16A, 17, 23L, and 23M of this ordinance, except where noted below. Those are also referenced on page 63 and page 87 of the current ordinance. Moving on to the building permit process. This was a request in the minutes 11-1, page 15, also language referred to by County Attorney Josh White. Several research details by myself and for the resident Josh came from Dixon County, Cassuth County, Grundy County, and the North Iowa Council of Governments. In Roman numeral number 7, applicant must provide a third-party acoustical analysis and a third-party shadow flicker analysis from a firm who is agreed upon by both Buchanan County and the applicant. The acoustic and shadow flicker analysis shall be performed at the nearest point of each adjoining and adjacent property line to the base of the tower, unless that property in question is under a waiver as described in section E district regulations. Then added from the May 15th, 2024 public hearing, vote to motion to include the shadow flicker requirements. State as no residents will experience more than 30 hours per year or more than 30 minutes per day of shadow flicker at the nearest point of the property to the wetness. To ensure compliance with this requirement prior to construction, the applicant will submit a report prepared by a qualified third party using the most up-to-date computer modeling software available, demonstrating that the proposed project will comply with the above requirements based on real-world or just-in-case assessment modeling. The report must show the locations and estimated amount of shadow effect to be experienced at all residences as a result of the individual WECS in the project. Sources discussed and came from successful wind siting practices made in Cassuth County. These were reviewed by Josh White and then submitted to Chris Mogulich, the auditor. Moving on to number 10, decommissioning plan, which includes agreement of 100% removal. These are from the minutes on 11/1, also page 15 of those minutes. Moving on to district regulations, these were requested from minutes 11/1, pages 13 and 14. WECS may be permitted as permitted manufacturing district set forth in section 16 of this ordinance, so long as bulk requirements and setback requirements are addressed. Said bulk requirements are shown in table 2 below. Number 2, WECS may only be constructed in areas that are rated less than 55 CSR. Only areas rated less than 55 CSR may be considered for rezoning and land use change. These were words and information recommended the P&Z body by Assistant County Dash on 4/9/2024. Moving on to table 2. And begin the process of the review of the ordinance. I visit the COZO chat room almost every morning throughout the year, and I put a request out to the COZO chat room to forward any they were willing to share. And then I shared the first 7 counties that responded. Those counties were Boone, Cedar, Clay, Kasuth, Winona, Palo Alto, and Polk. These items that I'll go over in table 2, information was received from the following sources. Grundy County and successful wind siting practices by Mike Robinson. Noted at the bottom of the proposed table 2 with the following counties: Grundy, Boone, Cedar, Palo Alto, Polk, and residents of Buchanan County. The proposed 4.5 times the height was from Grundy County by Mike Robinson. Proposed cemetery setbacks were referenced from Palo Alto County. And what I will do here is, as I move forward, I'll go left or right with the property lines beginning first from the wind turbine, non-commercial micro WECS. And I'll go down vertically and then slide to the right as I move through the table. Wind turbine, non-commercial micro WECS, setbacks from the property lines, 1.5 times the height per certified engineer. Neighboring dwellings, 1.5 times height per certified engineer, or maybe permit or homeowner. Right of ways, 1.5 times height per certified engineer. Other right of ways, railroads, power lines, etc. 1.5 times the height per certified engineer. Public conservation lands, fences, grasslands, public conservation lands, bike trails, parks, state, federal, county, and city lands. 1 mile, 5,280 feet for IDNR recommendations. Wetlands unchanged, other structures, 1.5 times the height for a certified engineer. Other existing WECS, there's no change. Cemeteries, half mile, any city limits 1 mile. Height restrictions, 200 feet maximum height. Moving to the right, wind turbine, non-commercial WECS, property lines, 1.5 times the height for a certified engineer. Neighborhood dwellings, 1.5 times the height per certified engineer. Right-of-ways, 1.5 times the height per certified engineer. Other right-of-ways, railroads, power lines, etc. 1.5 times the height per certified engineer. Public conservation lands, manages grasslands, public conservation lands, bike trails, parks, state, federal, county, and city lands. 1 mile, 5,280 feet per IDNR recommendations. Wetlands, no change. Other structures, 1.5 times height per certified engineer. Other WECS, no change. Cemeteries, half mile. Any city limits, 1 mile. Height restrictions, 200 feet maximum height. Wind turbine, commercial WECS, as I move to the right, property lines, 1.5 times height per certified engineer. Neighboring dwellings, 4.5 times height per certified engineer. Right-of-ways, 1.5 times height per certified engineer. Other right-of-ways, railroads, power lines, etc. 1.5 times height per certified engineer. Public conservation lands, manages grasslands, public conservation lands, bike trails, parks, state, federal, county, and city lands. 2 miles, 10,560 feet per IDNR recommendations. Wetlands, no change. Other structures, 1.5 times height per certified engineer. Other existing WECS, no change. Cemeteries, half mile. Any city limits, 2 miles. Height restrictions, 600 feet, maximum height. Met towers, property lines, 1.5 times height per certified engineer. Neighborhood dwellings, 1.5 times height per certified engineer. Right-of-ways, 1.5 times height per certified engineer. Other right-of-ways, railroad, power lines, etc. 1.5 times height per certified engineer. Public conservation lands, fences, grasslands, public conservation lands, bike trails, parks, state, federal, county, and city lands. 1 mile or 5,280 feet per IDNR recommendations. Wetlands, no change. Other structures, 1.5 times height per certified engineer. Other existing WECS, no change. Cemeteries, half mile. Any city limits, 1 mile. Height restrictions, 200 feet, maximum height. As I move down to the fine print of the table 2, all costs associated will be the applicant's expense. No cost will be assumed by Buchanan County, Iowa. Notwithstanding the above in table 2, setback for dwellings shall be reciprocal, and that no dwelling shall be constructed within 4.5 times the total height of the commercial wind turbine, unless the release of the liability is received from the WECS landowner and contractor. Moving on to height standards, letter C. These next several were taken from Winona County, page 75 and 76. Also in minutes, December 6 on page 4. C, commercial WECS shall be in compliance with section 16D above, as well as setback requirements as outlined in table 2. In any circumstance where the requirements are difficult to interpret, table 2 in this ordinance will take precedence. Security, climbing apparatus. All external climbing apparatus for accessory WECS shall be located at least 8 feet above the ground, and the tower must be designed to prevent climbing within the first 8 feet. I do want to note, on May 15th, 2024, public hearing vote included a motion to eliminate any and all fencing requirements. Moving on to signage, 7A. These were in March 6 minutes and some additions before that meeting. One sign limited to 4 square feet shall be posted at the base of each tower. The sign shall include a notice of no trespassing, a warning of high voltage, and the phone number of the owner and operator to call in case of an emergency. These were also noted in minutes 12-6, page 4. Each entrance to a wind turbine project shall include a notice of restriction to authorized personnel, a warning of high voltage, and the phone number of the owner and or operator to call in case of emergency. 7C, each driveway will be given a 911 address by Buchanan County, and each WECS of that address will be given a unique letter or number for the purpose of identification. As we move down to number 10, impacts on public infrastructure. These were taken from minutes 12-6, page 12. Impacts on public infrastructure, reimbursement of all costs related to excessive wear and tear to any public infrastructure such as but not limited to county roads and bridges, any highway system, stormwater management related improvements, and or public utilities that are caused by the construction, maintenance, or removal of any WECS projects. Any incurred expenses shall be reimbursed to the affected local governments. The determination shall be made by the zoning administrator after consultation with the county engineer and the board of supervisors to establish excessive wear and tear or damage that occurred and to estimate the cost of repair for said work. Any damages to any all roads as determined by the county engineer shall be reimbursed to the local governments affected and shall be billed to the corporation or company owning said WECS and to be paid within 45 days of issuance and may be subject to late charges, interest, or penalties as allowed by law. Also, all haul routes shall be reviewed and approved by the county engineer on the use of any rural county roads prior to construction and maintenance or removal of any WECS. In order to review proposed haul routes and or work location, WECS owners and or their contractors shall contact the county engineer a minimum of 6 months prior to starting any work within the county. Moving down to 11, discontinuation and decommissioning. 11A, these were pulled together for Polk County, page 6, number 22.10 through 1A, and Chickasaw County, page 10, number 6. The removal of discontinuous decommission of any WECS shall be the sole responsibility of the WECS device facility owner or owners and or operator with 100% removal, including any expenses related to the release of any easements. Moving down to letter C, the cost estimates shall be made by a competent party, such as the licensed third party, a contractor capable of decommissioning, or a person with suitable expertise or experience with decommissioning wind turbine projects. As I move down and cover these next 2 to 3, these were taken from our minutes on December 6th, page 14, Chickasaw County, page 10. The plan shall also identify the financial resources that will be available to pay for the decommissioning and removal of the WECS and accessory facilities and access roads. Letter B, the site shall be stabilized, graded, and cleared of any and all debris by the owner of the WECS device facility or its assigns. An optional agreement may be included in the contract between the owner and contractor recorded with the county. Letter F, any access roads shall be removed, cleared, and graded by the owner of the WECS device facility or its assigns unless the owner of the parcel desires to keep the access road in place. Buchanan County at no time will be assumed to take ownership or maintenance of any access road unless through official action by the Board of Supervisors. Letter G, Buchanan County will require financial security in the form of cash escrow, a revocable letter of credit or performance bond of 130% of the decommissioning value to ensure that the decommissioning process of the commercial WECS is completed as required in this subdivision, and all documents will be reviewed by the county auditor every 3 years. These were also taken from minutes 12-6, page 16 and 17. Bond amount was reviewed by the county attorney. Minutes from 12-6, page 13, Chickasaw County, page 9. The next edition, letter H, came from last week's meeting on 5/22/2024. Public hearing vote included a motion to add the above verbiage to the WECS ordinance amendments, and this was reviewed by Josh White before being submitted to Auditor Chris Bush. Upon decommissioning and 100% removal of any WECS project, irrelevant and legally described property shall automatically convert to the property's previous zoning classification prior to the WECS permitting installation of the zoning process to the M manufacturing district. Moving on to number 12, ownership and changes. A written notification shall be given to the zoning administrator and county auditor upon change of ownership of a WECS. B, the owner of the WECS shall give notice in writing to the zoning administrator any change in their on-site management. Those were also from the minutes that I noted previously from 12-6, page 16 and 17, minutes 12-6, page 13, and also Chickasaw County, page 9. Noise. Minutes 12-6, page 17, noise shall not exceed 50 decibels. Moving down to interference. Reference source minutes 12-6, page 17. The applicant shall minimize or mitigate interference with electromagnetic communications such as radio, cell phone, telephone, microwaves, or television signals caused by any WECS. The applicant shall notify all communication tower operators within 2 miles of proposed WECS location upon application to the county for permits. No WECS shall be constructed so as to interfere with county or Iowa Department of Transportation microwave transmissions. Moving down with notes and changes in regard to the WECS permitting process. These changes were taken from December 6th minutes, page 10, and also Cassuth County, page 13. A, condemnation waiver, issuance of a WECS construction permit shall be conditioned on the permit holder's enforceable promise, supported by the consideration of the issuance of the WECS construction permit, that the permit holder shall never use or seek to use eminent domain to acquire any real property interest to construct or operate this project. Letter B, any action brought by the county against the permit holder of WECS construction permit to enforce the provisions of this ordinance, the county shall not be entitled to recover its reasonable attorney fees and court costs as may be awarded by the decision-making tribunal. Number 8, release of liability. Buchanan County shall be fully released of any liability associated with any WECS built in unincorporated Buchanan County. Number 9, insurance. This is county attorney wording. Insurance. The owner or operator of the WECS shall provide a certificate of insurance prior to receiving the zoning permit. The owner or operator shall maintain a general liability policy covering bodily injury and property damage with limits of at least $3 million per occurrence and $3 million of aggregate, and file that with the Buchanan County Auditor at each renewal period. Number 10 and number 11 were taken from minutes 12-6, page 20, and also Grundy County, page 34, 13C, and 13D. Number 10, severability clause. Any of the provisions of this ordinance are for any reason found to be illegal or void, then the unlawful provisions of this ordinance, which are separate from said unlawful provisions, shall be and remain in full force and effect, the same as if the ordinance contained no illegal or void provisions. Number 11, repealer. This ordinance takes precedence over any previous copy or draft specified for commercial WECS in the Buchanan County development zoning ordinances. All ordinances or parts of ordinance and the provisions of this ordinance are hereby repealed. I do want to continue to note, if the proposed ordinance will be adopted as described above, WECS uses in the A2 district only included in table 1 on page 22 will be removed or eliminated from our current zoning ordinance. Number 11, wind energy conversion systems, WECS, would be removed or eliminated from A principal permitted uses on page 47 of our zoning ordinance.
Thank you, Chad. I appreciate it. So before I turn it over to the colleague, first person I was going to have a little background, by the way. During the public hearing, please direct all comments to the board. We kindly ask that there be no back and forth between audience members. Each attendee will be allowed 1 minute with a maximum CV time of 3 minutes. Please note the time cannot be transferred to another person. The attorney will address legal questions while shadowing another member of the planning and zoning may respond to planning and zoning related queries if they arise. Personal attacks directed toward another person, the board, or the commission will not be tolerated nor will happen, and you will be asked to leave. When you come up, please state your name, address, and county. Anybody wish to speak?
My name is Denise Albert, and I live at 2342 Benson Beacon Road, Brandon, Iowa, 52210. I'm not here to talk facts and figures, all these have been heard 1,000 times. There are more yet to come, but I speak from the heart, and sometimes my heart gets ahead of my emotions, so I wrote a few things down. I just one of over 800 people who have signed a petition asking for further setbacks and to maintain the current 55 or less CSR. There was no begging people to sign, and we haven't paid anyone to be here tonight. Just solid Buchanan County people who are concerned for the health and welfare of what's best for the entire county. I didn't come here tonight to listen to speakers who don't have a dog or pony in this race. I've been called a NIMBY and right, whatever I've heard it said that branded people have mob mentality. I'm proud to be a NIMBY and happy to have a community mentality. I even heard a remark coming out of a PNC meeting. We should sue them under the table. Folks, who's we and who is them? I watched the tireless efforts of the PNC committee needed to write up these recommendations. Meetings and phone calls, road trips, and dialogue with other counties and the people directly affected by turbines. I know you, the Buchanan County Board of Supervisors, have put countless hours of research into this subject and trust you will do what's right for Buchanan County and the majority of its people. I honestly feel that if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dennis Elkin from 3129 Everly Avenue, Brandon, Iowa, Buchanan County resident. I want to thank the Board of Supervisors and supporting staff for being here today and all the time and effort that's been put into this matter. To start off, I want to give the definition of a lobby: to seek influence a politician or public official on an issue. You're going to hear from people outside this county trying to lobby here today to change amendments that make it easier for windmills to be put in this county. They don't care about our land rights, your beliefs, your concerns, and they sure don't care about your health. They're here because they can put money in their pocket. I encourage you to disregard any recommendations from outsiders. They should be lobbying their own county, not ours. And as for Next Gen Energy, that's based in Florida, they should go back to the state to promote their own wind energy, since the state of Florida has 0 wind turbines onshore or offshore. From a resident of the county, I'm for the proposed ordinances. My opinion is it protects the safety of all residents with setbacks, helps protect our wildlife, and helps us guide as good stewards of our land and water supply. Thank you.
I'm Buddy Cavalier, 2906 Everly Avenue, Brandon, Iowa. So I support the Planning and Zoning Committee's proposal. I've lived in the same house for 46 years on my grandparents' home farm. I'm not someone that just moved into the area or someone coming in from outside to talk today. This project is very concerning to me because of potential impacts to me and my family. I was here long before a lot of other folks in this area. I like this area because of the view and the landscape. Most of the land around my immediate house does not have owners who reside on farmland. They don't care about the impacts of this project to folks like me. This includes neighboring property values. This one's a big one to me. Even a 5% reduction would be a significant impact to neighboring property values. NextEra, they're well aware of this. In fact, on their website, they state, while some potential property buyers may be hesitant to purchase ground-year wind turbines, academic study shows positive impacts for wind energy projects either balance, which I question why we're doing it, or outweigh any negative effects on property value. The question is for who? It's not for neighboring property values. You heard yourself, the realtors, and wind farms will impact neighboring property values. Also, the impact for flicker or shadow flicker for me and my family, that's incredibly annoying to deal with. I spend a lot of time outside. I like to enjoy my acreage. While the noise is not significant, I don't deal with noise that's continuous today. I do farm, and so I'm around tractors and equipment. Noise eventually stops at night. Additional concerns, you've heard the environmental concerns, removal of unproductive farm ground. We need all the fuel and biofuel, I should say biofuels and food that we can raise. My area specifically has a lot of bald eagles. In fact, they've been staying longer and longer every year. I know there was a survey done, but I would be curious to know what that survey looks like because I'm seeing them later and later in the season. If the windmills are so great, I would question why we're not putting those in town, and we know the answer to that. Folks don't want them in their backyards. There's a good reason for that. It's clear the majority of the community does not want this project. If you drive around the lake, you'll see all the signs posted and all the neighbors. There are a lot of unproductive ground in the US for wind farms and solar, so there's plenty of room to put these things, just not in our backyard. I would also add that this is not a landowner rights issue that they're making this out to be. I received text messages. This is an extension of landowner rights. Otherwise, they would be building these projects out today. So please do the right thing. Protect and support Buchanan County farmland, neighboring properties and family. Thank you.
Over 1633 330th Street, Brandon, Iowa. Yeah.
Good.
At the first reading, or at the first meeting, I spoke of respect, and last week I touched on how our community here and around Brandon, as neighbors and friends, pitted against each other because of wind turbines. If these turbines are so great and so important to the grid, that the electricity might need to go to Chicago, Fort Wayne, Cincinnati, or maybe even New York, then put them there. It was stated last week by an NextEra employee that these wind turbines are just temporary. I'm sorry, I wasn't sure I heard him right, so I asked someone else. Yes, temporary. Our families aren't temporary. Our neighbors aren't temporary. Our land isn't temporary. So I hope that everyone feels the same way. Regardless of how NextEra found Buchanan County and Brandon, Raleigh, and Jubilee areas, you knew before you started this process and talking to people that the CSR was 55, and yet you still came. I'm sure hoping to change the minds of all involved, be it the Board of Supervisors, the P&Z committee, and everyone in chosen areas. I'm sure you didn't expect people to be against you. You want to put up these massive 508 to 600 foot wind turbines, dig up good farm ground, going how deep, and then filling this massive hole with re-rod, cement, and God knows what else. For as you say, 1 acre of ground. Wait though, don't forget about the 25 or 30 acre power station. And guess what? I'm sorry. Well, guess what? All of the P&Z recommendations with the 55 CSR and the aforementioned setbacks that the P&Z has set in place, and you can have your wind turbines. That's what you have come here for, and that's what you want. But why here, where there are so many other open acres in much less populated areas, even in other states? In closing, I just want to say, this is Brandon, a town I'm proud to call home.
And 3358 Buchanan Avenue, Buchanan County. Concerns over turbines are not just isolated to Buchanan County. There are concerns being raised all over Iowa. Have you ever stopped to think why some counties that allow wind and solar projects have since gone back and revised their ordinance, adding further setbacks and stronger restrictions for future projects? It's firsthand experience and feedback that go into making those decisions. It's been over a year of spending countless hours researching everything I possibly could to get an understanding of turbines, their effects, their pros and their cons. I have listened to information presented both for and against. The biggest argument for those in favor is the revenue and the property rights. The biggest argument for those not in favor is the effects on whether it's human, plant, or wildlife. And then also the property rights. If you remove the common argument of property rights, what does that leave you? Revenue versus life. I stand before you asking you for you to put parameters on turbines to help protect the soil, humans, and wildlife. Life should always come before revenue. Please pass this ordinance.
Beth Carlson, 3348 Buchanan Avenue, Brandon, Buchanan County. Thank you, planning and zoning, for all the work that you've done. Thank you, board of supervisors, for all you've done. And I am in agreement with the current ordinance as read, and I would ask the board of supervisors vote to approve it. Thank you.
I'll finish what I get to say. I was forced in 1997.
Name, address, and county.
Oh, Reagan Lehman, I was right there. Been there for 30 years. In 1997, I was forced to build a house on less than 39 acres. I would get to 55. Lucky I had 180 foot of rock in September, so I moved the house there and we were fine. I'm just saying. Stay, keep it 39, get 55.
My name is Rich Sides, still, and my address is Walker, still, and I'm still from Benton County. Over the last couple of weeks, you've heard a handful of people comment that if you construct 55 or 65 windmills, it's going to generate a lot of revenue for the county, and I don't think anybody doubts that. But I'm hard pressed to think or to recall if anyone has asked, or if they've been told, if these 55 or 65 windmills are built, will it reduce my taxes? So I guess I would ask the people sitting behind me, assume for a moment that 65 windmills are constructed. Do you think your tax bill is going to go down? No. There's a lot of doubting Thomases out there. So I guess I would ask you folks, if you construct 55 or 65 windmills, can you guarantee these people that their tax bill will go down? Thank you. Thanks, folks.
King, 1514 280th Street, Brandon. I have what they call a Mears disease. I cannot handle flickering lights of any kind. And if these windmills are up, supposedly there's supposed to be two going across the road for months. And I'm worried about our health. There's eagles over there, there's quail. All kinds of wildlife. What will happen to these eagles as they migrate in and would fall? We need to protect our environment.
Good evening, Dale Tree, 3300 Finley, Buchanan County. Thanks again for this nice meeting. I spoke numerous times regarding the possibility of WECS. tonight's recap. First point, soil health and disturbances. The construction and transportation of these large industrial structures will have irreversible or at least extremely, like 1,000-year long-term damage of our roads and soils. Also affecting aerial application for you and your neighbors' crops, pesticides, cover crops, all that. Wildlife. Our area has come a long way in the last 30 or 40 years, from deer and bald eagle being rare, very common. What kind of industry would rather pay a $6 million fine or $29,000 for eagle death than their rates? Third point, longevity. These structures do not last long. After the lifespan, who removes the boulder from concrete they are bolted to? What happens to the access road after it cuts a nice square field diagonally? A landowner only owns it for about 60 years, a family maybe 100. Finally, ag versus manufacturing. Ag is DNA based. Manufacturing is physics and chemistry used to mass produce. Please zone and tax accordingly, or the plan and zoning is useful. Please respect your recommendation. Thank you.
Stacy Apples, 803 South Street, Brighton, Buchanan County. Just want to thank the zoning committee and also the board of supervisors. I support all the amendments that have been recommended and I ask you guys to agree. So, thank you.
It's happening 70 Robin Street, Robin, again. I support the new proposed ordinance. Planning and zoning, thank you for all your hard work. Up until a year ago, I hadn't thought much about the wind turbines, but thankful they were not near me. In the last few weeks, Matt and I have been reflecting. Matt was the first to bring it up. We've vacationed in other states and see their unique natural resources. When asked where you're from, Iowa, oh, Iowa, well, corn, it's just so green there. You just see endless green fields. Yes, that's Iowa. What is Buchanan County's natural resource? The farmland and the crops they produce. Other surrounding states, you see crops, but they do not have the same vigor and meaning, and some of them need additional irrigation. In Colorado, they have mountains. Wyoming is Yellowstone. Minnesota is the lakes and trees. Arizona, the Grand Canyon. Those natural resources make them special. We have all taken the lush green view for granted at times. What does Buchanan County and Iowa have that is special? Iowa farmland above 55 CSR is special and should be protected. Don't tarnish that view and scar the farmland. It will never truly be undone. It will affect the soil, the water, the animals, the birds, and most importantly, the rural residents' health, view, noise, and risk. Risk, the tornadoes in southern Iowa. The video, that's terrifying. Do we want to live in fear of a wind turbine coming crashing down near our home, our friend's home? Setbacks are important. I'm sure isolated incident will be brought up, but adding 70 turbines to Buchanan County, isolated could become frequent. Very few of the landowners that have signed up will not be living near and underneath these enormous turbines. Property rights are important. So are your neighbor property rights. Frankly, most that have signed up are of retirement age. They don't have young families that are the future of the Buchanan County to raise and protect. This is Plan B to have retirement. That is not a farm legacy to be proud of. As far as the Ottawa County supporters, you've had money put in your pockets for this. You don't live under one. You just come in, say they're great, inflate the efficiency and the return on investment numbers, and go back to their cul-de-sac in your suburb. Supervisors, please make this decision a legacy you're proud of. I wonder if the Delaware County supervisors, the turbines, knew their decision could be seen spinning half the county away, all the way to Rob. This decision will not only affect Buchanan County residents, but the surroundings.
Fort Hamilton, 2004 Gentry Avenue, Independence. Just like to thank the planning and zoning committee, supervisors, Chad, and all the other county workers that have put in so much time into these ordinances. This is what Buchanan County, or this is what is right for Buchanan County, so please vote to pass this. Thank you.
William Buchanan, 3035 Cross Avenue, just a couple miles up the road here. We all know from the past 2 weeks where I stand on this. I'm not in favor of your proposed ordinances. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I'm just saying that they're excessive. I'm looking at it from a different point of view other than I don't want my view of my landscape changed. Because, you know, I drive all over the state, all over several states here. I see them all the time. It's really not that much of a difference. Because a lot of times you look right past them. I'm looking at it as a way to help fund things like our schools, our roads, among other things that are taxes to go forward that would. Everybody wants our taxes to go down if these things are brought in. Well, if you got 3 people that build a house up here and 3 miles from me, 3 different houses, is my taxes gonna go down if they build their houses? No. But you got more tax base coming in, more revenue. I don't think you guys are thinking down the road far enough. Because if these things were so god awful bad, why did Fayette County just put a whole bunch of them in south of Lawler up there? Why did Delaware put them in? I don't know the situation from each county, but it sure seems like there's a lot of them going up all around us. Chickasaw County just put another good size wind farm in up there. There's benefits, there's good, there's bad. I'm just saying that it doesn't appear to me that anybody in front of me is looking at anything but what the people who are for this ordinance want. You know, I guess I'm being in the minority here to say that I really wish you guys would think hard. Last week, Clayton wanted you guys to do a land study, finish a land study before you guys agreed to this, and it was dead in the water. Why was that not a conversation? Is there a reason why nobody wants the land study done? I'm legitimately asking you two in front of me. Is there a reason why you guys don't want it done or now or?
Spoke on it, and we're not allowed to respond to questions.
All right, well, something to think about, because I would like to know. Thank you.
Donnie serves 3319 Deacon Avenue, Brandon, Buchanan County. Last week's public hearing brought up several issues. First, will property values decrease? Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory completed a study saying homes within 1 mile of a commercial wind turbine typically have an 11% decline in value after a new project is announced. Homes between 1 to 2 miles are slightly affected. Houses more than 2 miles away weren't affected at all. Those experiencing a decline returned to their previous values within 3 to 5 years after the project began. In 2022, the journal Energy Policy had research showing home values increased after wind projects began operation, suggesting that the economic benefits to the community made it more enticing to others. Second, are wind turbines more dangerous than other energy sources? We seem to hold wind turbines to a much higher standard than anything else. Few things can withstand a direct hit from an EF4 tornado. Let's not forget about the fossil fuel disasters that have occurred, such as the Exxon Valdez and the Deepwater Horizon oil spills, or major explosions at the West Virginia Massey coal mine, the BP Texas City refinery, and Freeport liquefied natural gas refinery. Third, do wind turbines cause health problems? Peter Thorne, a professor and head of the University of Iowa's Department of Occupational and Environmental Health, said wind turbines may be annoying, but there are no established adverse health effects. Research has said the symptoms were often real, but they were linked to beliefs and negative expectations. The Buchanan County Board of Health cannot say there is a definite direct link. Meanwhile, it is well documented that burning fossil fuels causes air pollution, resulting in multiple health risks. Last week, I spoke to a young man and asked him why he was supportive of the plan. He was interested in the new jobs, but he emphasized wind energy is the future. We have a choice. Will we move forward, keep the status quo, or fall behind? With our many budget concerns, my guess is fall behind. As supervisors, when you give in to fear and doubts by saying yes to the WECS ordinance, you are also saying no to the up to $3 million per year additional property tax receipts, no to private property rights, no to family farm lease payments, no to public schools, no to improve roads and bridges, and no to potential property tax decreases as decided by you, the supervisors. Please reject the current WECS ordinance. Thank you.
Concern 2459 First Street Southwest, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Lynn County. I understand that at this time, Independence, Iowa requires 25% of their electrical needs from wind. I don't think there's one person in this room that would stand up and say, I would love to spend 25% of my time without electricity. The situation is just so sad that it would be wonderful to provide electricity for everyone and anyone who needs it. And that's what this is all about. I do have a question for the board and the Planning and Zoning Committee. Twice, Planning and Zoning Committee was asked to raise the CSR to 70, and twice the request was not done. And I would just like to know why not.
My name is Melinda Hunter, 1595 330th Street, Brandon, Buchanan County. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Planning and Zoning Committee for their extensive research and recommendations for the WECS amendment. Comments have been made that property owners wanted the right to make the decision on what they do with their property. But what about the rights of the neighboring property owners? I want to have my rights, and I know a lot of other people would agree, that we want to live in peace and quiet of country living on our own little piece of land in Buchanan County. Turbines would take that away because they will have an adverse impact on more than the land they are being built on. I ask the Board of Supervisors to support the Planning and Zoning Commission recommendations of the WECS amendment. Thank you.
John Baker, 796 Richfield Road, Walker, Iowa. was born just a mile and a half north of here. Presently live in Lynn County, but Buchanan County is less than a mile away. I'm Buchanan County property taxpayer. As I stated last week, that we kind of have to fight the dealt, as we're dealt with. EPA is shutting down nuclear plants. EPA is shutting down the coal fire plants. Yes, we are building gas turbines or fired coal plants, not the coal plants are shut down. Gas fired plants are being built, but not fast enough. In the April 28th article in the Gazette, Alliant Energy is looking at increasing the cost of electricity by 7.7% due to a possible data plant being moved in. Presently, Alliant Energy is getting 1/2 their energy from renewable sources. The REC, Lynn County, Buchanan County, Benton County, they're presently using 33% of their power is from wind. So we do need wind energy. This is one gentleman stated the land management plan was written in 2006. They hold it for the last 20 years. And it's been mentioned that land management needs to be updated. And so does the watershed study plan that's going to be going on shortly, needs to be completed so that we can actually determine the state of the affairs for the Buchanan County. We do need energy. We have a possibility of getting wind energy in Buchanan County. We need to take a look at that and try to do what we can and fulfill our energy needs for our future.
My name is Wayne Manuel. I live at 3298 Finley Avenue, Brandon, Buchanan County. I am a wife, mother, friend, neighbor, and community member. We have lived here for 25 years, and I care about this community. We have raised our girls here. I can distinctly remember how upset we all were when the school district had to close the Rowley School at East Elementary. It would be a shame to let this opportunity go by to increase tax base to improve our schools. We won't directly benefit financially from a wind farm as we don't have enough land. But we would benefit from higher tax base with improved growth and emergency services, etc. Just yesterday, the tornado fire wasn't known independent because they didn't have enough staff. I'm curious about the sudden change in attitude about wind in Iowa. Iowans have long supported wind, including Governor Branson and Chuck Grassley. We're champions of it. Where is this coming from now? My parents live in Wisconsin, and they live just about a mile from a wind turbine. We just visited this past weekend, and there are 3 horses grazing peacefully less than a half a mile from it. There's also a cattle farm nearby. The houses nearby are all still occupied. The real reason I'm speaking tonight is because I have done lots and lots of reading from many different sources on the health of visitors. Many of our ecosystems are on the verge of collapse. One of the books I read is called The Sixth Extinction by Elizabeth Colbert. If you say you have an open mind, I implore you to read it. It talks about how humans are causing the next great mass extinction event and how everything is interconnected. My fear of this being minute compared to my fear of what's happening to this beautiful earth. I would be happy to lend anyone a copy of this book or have a civil discussion with you if you have honest questions. One of the definitions of conservative is aiming to preserve. I want to preserve this beautiful earth in a way that we know it and have adapted to it. But we need an all hands on deck approach. We need to install all the renewable energies we possibly can as fast as we can. In order to do that, we have to make a few concessions and change our attitudes. How you look at a wind turbine is a matter of perspective. You can change that perspective. I choose to look at that positively
because they offer hope that we can actually preserve this earth the way it's meant to be. Most of the time, the decision that is right for the common good is difficult to implement. My question is, we even make popular choices. We make it.
Sorry,
that's
time's
right
up.
for the greater good.
Time's up.
Thank you.
Tim Christopher, 2459 First Street, Southwest Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We are landowners here in Buchanan County and have been for a long time. My parents' family farm's been here since 1946. We paid a lot of property taxes, so we do feel we have a right to have an opinion, even though we don't live right here. But we are landowners and taxpayers. I guess I have more questions than comments. How is it that on the south side of Cedar Rapids for Independence, along Highway 150, right across the street from the cemetery, within a half mile of 3L Park, we developed grocery stores, Walmart, Casey's. There's all sorts of businesses there, and I think it's more than 55 CSR. Where was planning and zoning when all this happened? Is planning and zoning got a plan of how to raise revenue, pay for all of the streets, roads, bridges, schools? Has planning and zoning got a plan of how they're gonna electrify the new high school? All these businesses that are being put in and developed. When, where was the supervisors when they asked to have this 70 CSR instead of 55? Why wasn't that pushed a little harder? Seems to me that planning and zoning might be wagging the tail of the dog.
On Urban 3366 Beacon Avenue.
Please step forward, you have a quiet voice.
Sorry, 3366 Beacon Avenue in Buchanan County. Late this afternoon, we received an email from a lady in Iowa who has two turbines on her farm. She saw that the final meeting was tonight and asked that we call her and share her story. On March 25, 2023, the first turbine was struck by lightning and burned. The second one burned on May 13, 2024. Representatives from the company told them that it is cheaper to clean them off after they burn than it is to maintain the lightning protection and fire suppression systems. The company has removed the first turbine, but has not cleaned up any of the debris. It's completely burned into the ground. Because it was windy and the wind changed direction the next day, the second turbine spread debris over at least 300 acres, which included 3 neighboring farms. They now have a cornfield that is growing fast and full of wind turbine fiberglass. They baled corn stalks to feed their cows. She didn't know what they would have done if this had happened in October, as they would not have been able to feed those cows. As it is, they can't graze them. Had it been during the drought, the field would burn. Their volunteer fire department would do nothing to put out the fire on the turbine. The wind company contracted with a cleanup crew to fix all of this. She managed to get the contract. It was 3 people with 3 shop vacs to clean for 3 days. Yes, 3 people, 3 shop vacs, 3 days to clean up 300 acres of land. They are now picking up the debris by themselves. An instant shower is necessary to rid their bodies of the fiberglass they have handled and dug out of the dirt. A gigantic crate has been sitting on their property for a year, but it hasn't done anything. Their soil is compacted and their drainage tiles are ruined. The erosion from the fields where cover crops could not be planted because it would hide the fiberglass is terrible, and the rain is washing it into other fields. She also said that the turbines have had one problem after another, where even the technicians would complain about continually working on them. One of the biggest problems was the constant leaking of oil into the fields. She was so frustrated that she called the farmer in New York who had the same problem to see if there was any solution. He said he was still waiting on NextEra after a year and a half. 2 wind turbine fires on the same farm in less than a year suggest what has been reported for years now. Wind turbine fires are far more common than we know. because there is no mandatory requirement that they be reported. As this story shows, when fires do occur, they do a lot of damage over a wide area. That's why it's so important that we have a strong WECS to protect non-participating landowners, and why I urge the supervisors to vote yes tonight. Thank you.
My name is Grace Schmedke. I live at 203 Miller Street here in Buchanan County. I was not planning on speaking tonight, but I think that I am the future of Buchanan County and Brandon. I would hate to see the wildlife and the residents of Brandon, Iowa, driven home because of the wind farms. I ask you to please pass this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace.
Dan Halligan, 3154 Buchanan, and I live just outside town. Been here to a couple of these meetings, and to me, it's listening. It's more about the money. It's easy money. People purchase the land, they put them up. They take care of them. The people that don't want them are the people that live here. We got arguments of electricity. We want to support electricity, but you realize Cedar Rapids, Iowa, gets electricity from Sydney, Nebraska at the peak of their electrical days. So why can't you build them elsewhere and ship the electricity if you need that bad? It's all about money, guys. That's what it's about. And the people of this town really don't want to sacrifice what they got for that little bit of money. And I agree with you, but you guys done a good job. I hope you pass.
Good evening, Tom Trainer, 3484 Barton Circle, Marion, Iowa, Glenn County. So I've been here for the last few years, probably, talking about this project. Before I get rolling here, I'd just like to say thank you to the folks that have supported us. We've built projects all over the state. We're very proud of the projects we build. We're great community partners in the communities that we're in, and I think if you call it a place that we have a wind farm or a solar activity, you'll find that we're active members of the community. I wear my shirt here proudly. I walk down the streets of the communities that we're in, and I'm very comfortable with it. We are a community partner, and that's what we're trying to do here. I understand that there's a lot of folks here that don't agree with that. There's a lot of misinformation, I feel, that's been placed at the foot of the board over the last few months and years. One thing I would ask, and I understand that the ordinance is likely not to proceed, and I understand that a lot of people are going to be really happy about that. But there is a moratorium in place, and I think it was extended for a year. And I think a couple of people brought up your community comprehensive plan, and the desire for that to move forward at the beginning of this conversation months ago. My folks, I think, went a little unheard. And I think that's critical. A lot of the folks that have spoken tonight here, you speak with passion, and I appreciate that. I really do. I mean, my community, if I like to speak that way about my community as well. But this is a county-wide issue. A lot of the folks here are specifically in Brandon. We held 3 public meetings in Brandon. It's a county-wide issue. So we've got I've seen everyone in this crowd, I think, all 3 meetings. There haven't been a lot of new people. And I think that's one of the problems. I think going back, taking a look at your county comprehensive plan would be a very important piece to this. You have a moratorium in place. You have a year left to proceed with that. That's what Clayton wanted. He didn't get any support for that. I think a wise, a couple folks brought up a very specific issue about the fact that I believe the planning commission brought forward the CSR issue and the zoning twice, and the board chose not to take action on it. And I think that shows that there's portions of this that you really don't agree with. But you're passing them to get through the whole idea of having to confront the issue on a county-wide basis. So I hope that the folks in other parts of the county have the opportunity to weigh in on this at some point in time. But I'd like to just leave you with a thank you to the folks that have been open to listening, learning, and have been very supportive of our project. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Shirley Shares. I live in town of Independence, Iowa, Buchanan County. I support everything you guys are doing for the PNC committee. I appreciate all the hard work you've done. I am not from Brandon, Iowa, and I really, really hope you are listening and support them and turn this down. Thank you.
Thirty-three hundred Fifth Avenue, Brandon. I apologize for my attire, came from softball game. I had a wise man tell me the other day, it's the bottom of the seventh. Pull down 2 outs. Here's my swing. Okay, I found this, it's Clean Energy Isn't Clean. It's from a research analyst and expert in energy and environmental policy. That was really something to think about. A single 100 megawatt natural gas fired turbine about as large as a residential house will power 75,000 homes. Replacing that energy output with wind requires 20 wind turbines that occupy around 10 square miles of land. And it also needs enormous quantities of materials like concrete, steel, fiberglass, less common materials, and rare elements. That's going to involve some mining of those rare minerals. And this is before even the wind turbine is even manufactured. So construction materials like your steel, your glass, and your concrete are going to also take up more fossil fuels and is intensive industries to try and produce that. So where do we get those fossil fuels? Well, some of them in this particular article and this particular individual, he was reporting them from Democratic Republic of Congo. Some of that's cobalt. Manufacture those batteries that we need to provide backup for wind. Not to mention the one thing that brought attention to my eye, that particular country, it's manufactured by slaves, child labor, forced labor. Human trafficking is not something I really want to be part of. And then also that same 100 megawatt wind farm, when it wears out, decommissioning and trashing them will lead to 4-fold more non-recyclable plastic trash than all the world's recycled plastic straws combined. So how is that beneficial to our county at all, the land that we love? Please support PNC recommendations. They've done a great job. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And see you make up for that.
No, you're good.
Okay.
I'm 2342 Buchanan County Road.
Closer.
That's getting too long. Okay, 2342 Buchanan Road, Brandon, Iowa, Benton County. Chuck Grassley and Sue talked about losing good farmland. They're really concerned about all the good farmland that's being bought by non-agricultural communities. Bill Stack, who's the former governor of Iowa, is now Secretary of Ag. And on WMT radio in November, he talked about all the acres that we're losing. He also spoke at convention in Houston, Texas. And in America, on the average per year, we're losing 12.39 million acres a year of good farmland. And he is concerned that that trend goes, it's going to be a national defense issue for us. Next year, just quickly, since 2000, they spent over $30 million in fines for violations. Those violations have been
wage and hour, workplace safety, utility services, employment discrimination, and the environmentalists. So also, next year, I helped finance 2 attempts to create eminent domain, which basically take away our county and our city's rights with the wind industry and wind decisions. So the other thing too is we've asked for over a year next year to get a financial ledger of, they tell us that they're in different counties with wind turbines. We don't see anything in black and white. Good businesses will find that out before they do business with companies. You need to know what the expenses are. You need to know where the money's coming from. But they haven't produced it. I don't know if they produced anything in black and white. We have all these sky and the pie figures, millions of dollars. But really, what is happening? What's going on? And also, I have a question about the property rights issue. Why do we think the lobbyists and the VCs think their property rights are more than anybody else's? Well, they're not. And why aren't these lobbyists who are with property rights, why aren't they protecting our property rights? So, the tornado last week, we've already discussed that, all the debris and those type of things. People complain about the 4.5 times the height, with that tornado last week, maybe we should be like Union County, Iowa, who just stopped it early in May, 7 times the height. What is the safety? We don't know what safety is. And there was a fire, that fire was incidental, it would happen in the fall, but as far as 900 acres would be burned, and what else we were. There was a study, by Harvard, just released recently about global warming from wind farms, 1.5 degrees Celsius. So I just want to thank everybody and the BNC, great job. Also want to say the BNC saved the county $25,000 that would have been paid to Intercog to do the study.
Thank you.
If there's any more comments, please come forward and close the hearing.
Service 3366 Newman Avenue, Brandon, Buchanan County. As demonstrated by the first and second public meetings held on May 15th and 22nd, it's plainly obvious that a major majority of Buchanan County residents want the WECS ordinance approved. Many of these are farmers who want to preserve the county's rich farmland for food and fiber. When you do not count the NextEra employees, their paid lobbyists, and others from outside the county that spoke, we'll only have a handful of people left in Buchanan County who do not want WECS ordinance. I have no illusions that NextEra will honor what the state of Iowa code promotes, what the P&Z recommends, what the Board of Supervisors decide, and what the great majority of the county wants. It just isn't their way. They will continue to try to find a backdoor so they can pressure Buchanan County into adopting their standards instead of ours. So please set a precedent that you as the Board of Supervisors will not allow an out-of-state company to bully their way in and force you to change the ordinances that have been keeping the county strong for decades. I'm asking you to take a stand for Buchanan County and pass the WECS as written. Thank you.
Main Street, Buchanan County. I grew up here and I am raising my own family and my child home that my mom worked so hard and bought as a single mother. I love my town and my community, but I can honestly say these ordinances are not considered and passed. I would consider moving my family elsewhere. Please consider passing the ordinance and listen to our community. Thank you.
I'm out in Brandon, Iowa. Kevin Heisen, 2882 Gloucester Avenue, Buchanan County. I want to thank the Board of Supervisors and the board, the development board for all the time they put in. And I would just like to hope that the board votes yes for the ordinance.
Step a little closer, Bob. Step a little closer to the mic.
Okay.
Yes.
Not much more Raleigh, Iowa. I think this ordinance needs to be tweaked a little bit. Your fall 1.5 times, you look around the county, all the cell phone towers, the radio towers, TV towers. You do 1.5 times, most of them are gonna hit a house or a building someplace or be across some public road. I think, you lose probably almost 100 acres a year to development other than farm businesses and other businesses. So I think you need everything what government says. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrea Schmidt, 203 Middle Street, Brandon, Buchanan County. I would ask that you pass the ordinances before you by the B and C. It's important to protect the, farming heritage of our county. Thank you.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
And I'm sure you're tired of hearing me. A couple facts. If you drive it, I'm representing, Bill Mitchell, representing Fort Daniel Avenue. Brandon Avenue. Buchanan County. Couple facts. I'm here representing the Mitchell Family Trust. We hire a farm management company and they manage land from Nebraska to into the Nebraska and Illinois. And when we asked it, we were never approached, by the way, by NextEra. They went right to Hertz. Hertz brought it to the family. We voted on it. We asked a few questions. Hertz said in the land all the way across the Bay Farm, which is roughly 1 million acres, they've seen a 20 to 30% drop in value of your land property where they put the turbines up, and the surrounding land in the county that exists. So who's gonna pay me that extra 20, 30% if you decide to sell this trust? Second, if you drive north out of town, you'll see the harvest that's 90 feet tall. Imagine a wind turbine, 5 of those stacked. Same thing if you go down 283, just on the hill outside of Brandon here, there's another harvester. Imagine 5 of them stacked on top of themselves. If you drive to the end of 283, you'll look at 2 TV towers. If you stare up and down those TV towers, the top of that turbine spin would be 2/3 of the way up that 1,000-foot tower. Respect. I don't think we need to say much more. Thank you very much. All those in favor of the ordinance, please stand.
There's no further comments. I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is closed.
I do have some comments. I would like to address a couple of things that they brought up. They asked about raising the CSR to 70. That was proposed because the average in Buchanan County is 70 CSR. And that was voted down, and we reverted back to what the comprehensive plan had identified as 55 CSR. Another question was on the update of the comprehensive plan. As the board of supervisors, we made the decision a year ago that we're going to proceed with getting the zoning ordinance straightened out before we attack the comprehensive plan. My personal opinion is comprehensive plan is pretty intact the way it is. It needs some updating possibly, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of changes. And it's going to take some time. It's going to take a committee of approximately 15 people working on this to dissect it and look at it and revise it. So we thought the best way to move forward was to get the zoning done. The third thing I wanted to address was brought up about buildings and construction within the city of Independence, whether it's a new grocery store or Walmart or whatever it is. That's all in the city limits. And we don't control the development within the city limits. That's Independence, City of Independence. Their zoning department takes care of all that.
Thank you, Don. I would like to thank the planning and zoning commission for doing what we asked and doing such a great job. I couldn't be prouder to get the group ahead.
Make a motion that we approve the recommendations from the Planning and Zoning Commission for chapter 15 of our zoning ordinance as amended. And move for final adoption.
I will second that motion. Roll call.
Curtis, yes.
Roll yes.
Okay,
Curtis, yes.
just so I have everything correct, motion by Kurtz to approve the amendment as presented this evening by zoning director Beatty. And second by Vogel for the final adoption of the WECS chapter 50 update.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Yeah.